Hello and welcome back to our cottage garden. We've seized the opportunity of the dry weather today because once again we're having a really rainy week and we've been struggling to get outside and film and do some gardening, but today's looking really lovely, so I'm going to do a bulb unboxing with you, and I'm also going to start planting these around the garden as well, doing a bit of tidying up and getting into that autumn winter routine of getting the bulbs in the ground and having something to look forward to. But before we get into it, I do have a sponsor to tell you about for this video, and I'm really excited to start doing sponsors on the videos. It's going to allow me to make more content for you and make better content about the garden, and this one is one that I've really enjoyed. So this video is sponsored by Merge Gardens, which is a mobile game where you can create your own garden full of trees, flowers and wildlife, and it's been such a comfort to me in this rubbish weather, and while the nights are drawing in and there's less time to be outside, I've been getting cozy in the evenings and playing this game. So I'm going to show you what I've been working on in my garden. What I'm currently working on in my garden is collecting masterpieces, and that is when you merge a certain number of something, you work your way up the chain and towards the top masterpiece here. So I've done one, and this is in my vegetable garden. I've got my pumpkin masterpiece, and I was so happy when I got this masterpiece. I absolutely love arranging and organising some of the things in this garden. It really helps me unwind when I'm feeling a little bit stressed out after the day and I just want to think about gardening and something easy and take my mind off all of the stresses. Also, little mini puzzles in this game, and I like using these to wake myself up in the morning and get my brain switched on, and it's just good fun. So if you would like to play Merge Gardens, you can scan this QR code or you can use the link in my video description and give it a download. It's free to play, so have a good time and happy merging. Now we're back in our own garden. I'm ready to do the unboxing of our second lot of bulbs for the year. If you missed my first unboxing video, I'll link to that above as well, so you can give that a watch. But I hadn't in my previous video ordered irises and tulips, and there were still a few more other things that I wanted to get. So I'm going to go ahead and unbox this with you, and then we can start getting them in the ground. The great thing is now bulbs are on sale because it's coming to the end of the season. It's not too late to plant them. I plant them up until end of December, and if they don't flower this coming spring, they should flower the next one. If you're a little bit late, you'll still be fine. So I always love getting bulbs in the sale. So yesterday we went to, just from B&Q, I got some dwarf daffodils called Minnow, and these are really lovely, and I'm hoping to naturalise these in the grass. And they were down to, I think, £1.50, £1.75 per packet, so that was really good value. And I actually ordered these bulbs a little while ago, but it's been so rainy I haven't had time to unbox them with you. So I've got, I think, 5 varieties of tulip. I've got one called Backpacker. This one's new to me, never grown that one before. So that one's really exciting. I have a lot of irises, and these were such great value. They were on sale a couple of months ago when I ordered them. I think they were half price or less. So I've got Iris Painted Lady, and these are Iris reticulata, so they will flower really early. I've had these flowering in the garden sometimes as early as January, start of February, so it's a really nice way to welcome a bit of colour into the garden in those early months of the year. Tulipa Pink Star. I don't think I've grown that one before, but it has really beautiful petals, and I love the way that the pink kind of merges into an orange kind of tone. We have Iris, Catherine's Gold. This one I haven't grown before, but I really liked the colour of it, so I was keen to get some of those. These are a really lovely size as well. Occasionally when you buy iris bulbs, they're a bit smaller than this, so these should give us nice big flowers. Frozen Planet, these are a really gorgeous icy blue colour. I was desperate to get my hands on some of these because I thought the colour was amazing. And I love with irises that they return every year, and they even spread a little bit as well. Tulipa Black Hero. I love black tulips. They look so pretty on a sunny day, the way they reflect the light. And I was a bit sceptical to order black tulips, but they are Aaron's favourite, and he insisted that we get some for the garden last year. And when we did, I just fell in love with them, and now I plant them every year, and he will find that funny. Tulipa Pink Star, we've done that one already. Couple more bags left. We have Tulip Cream Upstar. This is another new one to me. All of these will go in my cutting patch, so in theory I'll be bringing them into the house once they're flowering, so we've got some cut flowers inside. This was a bag of fritillaries, but it looks like it's gone mouldy in the bottom of the box, so that was unfortunate. But these were white fritillaries that I was just going to add to my wildflower area. But I think those will have to go in the compost bin because I don't really want to risk planting them. They don't look happy at all. That happens if you leave them in the box for too long, and there was nothing we could do. It was really rainy. Iris Silver Beauty. This is a Dutch iris, so this will flower later in the spring, and these are on really tall stems, and the colour when the sun's setting is so beautiful. It's like a gorgeous bluey purple kind of colour, and the way the light shines through it, it's just magic. So I love growing those. I have got a few of them already, but the problem is leaving them in the ground each year, I do accidentally dig them up while I'm gardening. So I just want to top them back up to keep a good stock of them. And last but not least, we've got Tulip Copper Image. I have grown this one before and I really liked growing it. This one I grew last year and I just loved it. So I thought we'll get another bag of those, get those in the ground. And that's a wrap on my second part of my bulb unboxing. So now let's get them in the ground and I can show you what our plans are. So I've got a bucket of tools here. I need to get a more aesthetically pleasing bucket for these videos, but the reality is I use a lot of old plastic things. We just reuse whatever we've got. But I've got this bulb planter for tulips, daffodils and chunkier bulbs. And then I've also got this one which I use for fritillaries, irises, snowdrops, the smaller ones. So this will be what we're using for the irises. I've got some knee pads because the ground's wet today, and a spade and a weeding tool just in case we come across any weeds while we're going. And I think that will do us for now, so let's get cracking. So I'm starting here, and if you've watched our videos before, you'll know that this is our new hellebore bed, and this is a bed for winter interest. So I'm going to fill this with irises as well, so that there's something in there to mix the colours up a bit, a little bit of variety. So I've got 3 varieties of iris that I'm going to plant here, and rather than mix them up, I think I'm going to do them in small clumps of the same colour, so maybe clumps of 7 or 10 bulbs, and have those scattered along this first layer. I'm going to worry about the second layer next year. That's not my focus right now. I'd rather do a good job in a small area and feel like I've made good progress to help me motivate myself to carry on gardening. So let's find our iris bulbs. So we've got 40 irises to go in here. I really thought I ordered more than that, but maybe that was what I wanted to do. I didn't go ahead with it. I'm going to use probably the spade. Because I'm planting them in clumps, I'm just going to dig out a bit of soil, put the bulbs in and then cover them. I'm just going to drop the bags roughly where I want them and then dig out little holes. There aren't any other bulbs in this bed already, and if I was really organised, I probably would consider doing a bulb lasagna here as well, which means planting some bulbs deeper underneath, maybe tulips or daffodils, and then a shallower layer with the irises in. But I'm not that organised this year, so we're just going to get these irises in. They're funny looking bulbs, they look a bit like garlic cloves. I thought this bed will be good for the irises because they are small, so if you have them on a ground level bed, sometimes you can miss them, whereas here is a bit raised, so hopefully they'll catch your eye a bit better when you're walking past in the winter. I do struggle with the weeds in this bed a bit, just because it backs up against quite a wild area that doesn't get mown, so we do get a lot of seeds germinating. But the good thing is it gets some lovely leaf mulch, so the soil is absolutely beautiful, and I think that's why these hellebores and like woodland type plants do so well here. Some of these hellebores are flowering already. We've got 3 flowers starting on this one. They haven't quite opened up yet. A couple over there. Feels really early in my experience for hellebores to be flowering. I won't complain because they're lovely, but it's just unusual. And although there's not much going on in the garden this time of year, you do feel like you notice a lot of change each time you come out here, and I can see now even the primroses are so much bushier than they were last time I looked at them, and it gives you a bit of hope that even though we don't like winter, spring will be here before you know it. So there you go, that bed is finished with iris bulbs now, and that was actually the perfect amount. I thought we were going to be a bit short, we had about 40 bulbs, but I managed to do probably about 6 clumps of different colours, and some of those bulbs were huge, so I'm expecting quite nice flowers in late winter, early spring, so we can look forward to those. And I'm really excited to see things self-seeding in this bed. The little hellebores that are popping up and the aguilesias should mean that it fills up without us needing to spend too much more on this one, so I think it will be self-sufficient from now on. And also this erigeron has self-seeded on this little cobblestone patch here, so this should look really nice come summer, even into autumn next year as well, and that will spread quickly too. So good things to come here. Stay tuned and make sure you give us a subscribe if you want to see this develop. Now it's time for tulips. So this is the bed where I'm going to be putting my tulips, and so far in the last 3 years I've been using this bed alternating between dahlias and then lifting those and putting tulips in. I'm going to need to probably put a bit of nice compost on top of the soil because I haven't fed it very much, excluding the leaf mulch that it gets from these trees. So I'm going to go ahead and lift the dahlias now. We haven't had much of a frost, which we would have expected to have by now. We had a really light frost about 3 days ago, so you can see these are starting to die back a bit, but not as much as they usually would before I lift them. But I have heard it doesn't matter as much as people think that it does, so it's fine. They can still come out and they'll go dormant, and I'll store them in boxes of straw over the winter. The rest of my dahlias I'll be leaving in the ground and giving a mulch, but because I use this bed for tulips, these ones have got to come out. So I'm just leaving a little bit of stem on the top so I know where they are. Feels a bit disappointing cutting these down. It's like accepting defeat. I was hoping that they would flower more with all the mild weather that we've been having, but it's not meant to be this year. And these dahlias were the ones that I bought in lockdown, and it was the first lockdown, so garden centres were closed. Couldn't get our hands on anything, so I ordered them ridiculously priced on eBay because I was so desperate to grow them. They came so late in the year that I haven't really ever had much luck with these tubers. But they're 2 or 3 years old now, and they've been stored each winter and dug up. When they flower, they're amazing. And when I store these dahlias, I don't make too much of an effort to clean them. I just brush all of the soil off, and I'll place them somewhere to dry. Usually place them upside down on top of a ladder that I'm using as sort of a table, and then I can slot them in between the gaps in the ladder, let them dry out for a few days, and then put them in boxes. And for those of you who aren't in a similar climate to us, the reason we dig the dahlias is because they're not cold hardy, so they would likely frost over the winter. But as we're in the southwest, we do actually have a slightly warmer winter than the rest of the country, so a lot of our neighbours don't dig their dahlias. They just give them a mulch to help keep the frost off them, and they do survive. That's our last dahlia tuber out. I'm just going to quickly tear off any really rooty bits or rotten tubers, put those on the compost pile. But yeah, I'm going to put these to dry now in the shed, and then we can start getting the tulip bulbs in this bed. So when it comes to tulips, I plant them here every year. I normally put about 60 bulbs in this bed. I think that's what I've got this year, possibly even as little as 50. You can pack them quite densely, but because it's a larger size bed, there will be some gaps between the rows, but we don't mind that. And I'm just going to go ahead and dig trenches, and the way I like to grow them is have a line of each colour, so it's quite neat. Where the rest of my garden is quite wild and chaotic, there's this little patch of tidiness. So I'm just going to get the bulbs out and see how many rows I need to do, then I'm going to dig the rows and put the bulbs in. So I've got 6 packets of 10, I'm going to do 6 rows and plant them. I've got 2 pink star tulips, so I'm going to have those on either side, and then lines of different varieties in the middle. So let's go ahead and dig the trenches for those now. So I go about 12 centimetres deep for the tulip bulbs. I don't go any deeper because I will want to pull these up in spring to use the bed for something else, and squirrels aren't really a problem. If squirrels were a problem, I would go deeper still with these, but I can get away with 12 centimetres here. That's what I've done every year. And then I've got 10 bulbs for this trench. that I'm going to space equidistant apart. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, we've been shortchanged a bulb. Got 9, I think. That's still fine though. And then I'm just going to use a little stick to mark where that trench was so I know roughly where to put the next one. I'm going to fill this in and then dig the next one, so on and so forth until we finish the bed. So there we go, that's the last of the tulip bulbs in the ground, and that's another 100 bulbs in the ground. Be sure to give us a subscribe if you want to see those flower in spring, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.